Hi, this is Josh Marshall from TPM Media. It's Thursday, June 14th, 2007. Yesterday we showed you part one of our interview with Franken, who's now running for the Senate from the state of Minnesota. Today we're going to show you what he had to say about Iraq.
We blew the war in so many ways. We shouldn't have gone there in the beginning. We were lied into it. We didn't send enough troops. The whole litany of blunders. But a big one is that the Reconstruction was inept and corrupt. And every dollar that wasn't spent getting up the electricity or the water or taking care of the sewage or putting Iraqis to work alienated the Iraqi people and fueled the insurgency and made life and the task that already was probably impossible, more impossible for our troops.
Now, I don't think a lot of people know this. You've actually been over there a number of times. And these, I guess, are they actually USO tours? Or,
yeah, the USO tours.
So, you know, there was a lot of heartburn among Democrats around the country a couple weeks ago when this standoff ended between the president and the Democrats. What did you think of how that standoff ended?
Well, I think people have to remember that it was, I would have voted to keep the timetables. I mean, I wouldn't have voted for this. But you have to remember it was 420 days. And in September, we're supposed to hear from Petraeus about whether this surge is a success or not.
Right.
And every Republican who would talk about the timetable would say, like, setting a timetable is telling them when you're going to leave, and they'll. Well, if you're telling them Petraeus is going to announce in September whether the surge is a success or not. I predict a bad late August.
Yes, yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, that's just my predictive.
Right.
You know, this is not a success. With the level of certainly our troops dying has gone up, and that's predictable because we have more troops in the middle of
active combat.
Well, in the sectarian violence. But also the death rate around the country is about the same. And so I don't think you can point to this and say there's been success. We don't know who we're fighting. I mean, we really don't. What are we doing? Who are we fighting for? Are we fighting for the Maliki government? They have no willingness to, it seems, to try to build a unified country. They seem to have what they seem to be doing is trying to consolidate their power, and when we finally do leave,
so they can hold on to it.
Hold on to it and persecute the Sunnis who persecuted them when Saddam was in power. So are we fighting for them? I don't know. I mean, we train. There was a piece in the New York Times a couple weeks ago about these guys on their third tour. And they were gung-ho the first two tours. Now they're just saying this is ridiculous because one of their guys in their unit got killed by a guy they trained, like an Iraqi army guy they trained during the day, was killing them at night. And this is common. So who are we fighting for?
What do the Democrats do come September when they come back to this budget thing again?
I think you make the president cut off funding for the troops. I mean, I think that.
There's definitely a lot of Democrats who are just not willing to bite that bullet, so to speak.
I think by then they will be. I think they heard from their constituents, from the people who elected them in '06. I think that the Democrats got nervous that they were Gingrich and the president was Clinton in terms of this was early '96. And I think it was the opposite. I think he was Gingrich and we were Clinton.
Well, it's funny.
I think that we just got to make him say, okay, I'm cutting off funding because I won't agree to a timetable. Tom Ricks, you were obviously a regular guest on my show. Well, so was Tom Ricks after he wrote Fiasco, which is a book I'd recommend to everybody. And he would say that, you know, he was saying what I was saying, and I probably was saying it because he was saying it, but which is that they're just trying to consolidate their power so they can, when we leave, kick ass on the Sunnis. That's what the benchmarks are for, to make them prove that either they are willing or able, or hopefully both, you know, share the oil revenue, and not just with foreign oil companies. To start some reconciliation at provincial elections, to disarm the Mahdi army and the other death squads, the other militias. And that's, if they're not willing to do that, why are we there? We're not there for any reason. So what we need is to leave, and we need to leave intelligently. Now, how do we do that? Well, the debate, we really should have it like an actual debate. And we should be talking about, yes, we need a regional conference. And everyone says that. And I go to a lot of Democratic events where the sum total of what a Democrat will say is, we don't need a surge in troops, we need a surge in diplomacy. And everyone goes, yay, and then they move on. That's my Iraq policy. And I go, well, okay, that sounds good, and they're right, but what does that mean?
What do you make of people who say that when we leave, there's going to be this like terrible bloodbath that'll be on our conscience? That's
why I think the way we leave has to include thinking about that. So it has to involve not just Syria and Iran, but Saudi Arabia and Egypt and Jordan. Jordan and Syria already have incredible number of refugees from Iraq. A lot of them are middle class. A lot of them are the people who are going to build this Jeffersonian democracy in Iraq. And they said, I'm going to get out of here. I have the wherewithal to get out, and they do. But a lot of them aren't. And they don't want more of those refugees. So there is actually motivation for the countries around Iraq for it not to explode into a call. And this might mean redeploying our troops to Kuwait, redeploying our troops to Jordan. You know, there'll be in the debate an argument about, should we redeploy some of our troops to Al-Assad, which is in Anbar? Should we, you know, is that worth it? Or is it better just to get out of there so that everyone knows that we have no designs on their oil? Because
we have to stop having the designs on their oil.
They think that. That we went in there for their oil.
It's amazing how conspiracy theories start in that part of the world.
I know. They're so, I don't know, they're so conspiracy minded.